A very bright morning to all my dear students. Let's have today's quote. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. Today we will start Chapter 7 of Civics section Urban Administration. In last chapter we studied about rural administration, but in this we will learn about urban administration. I hope the difference between rural and urban is clear to you all. Rural term is related to villages and district level, whereas urban term is related to big cities. So children, in this chapter we will study how the working of the cities goes on. So children, let's start with the reading of the chapter. A city is much bigger than a village and more spread out. A city has crowded markets, mainly buses and cars, water and electricity facilities, traffic control, and hospitals. Have you ever wondered who is responsible for running all this? Do you know how decisions are made, how the planning is done, who are the people who do all the work? Read this chapter and find some answers. So, children, in this chapter, we will come to know who all are the people who are involved in the administration of the cities. Here is the small story given to you all so that you can understand the working of the cities better. Okay, children, so in this frame, you can see there are some children who are playing the game of cricket. So let's read. One lazy Sunday afternoon, Mala and her friends Shankar, Jahangir, and Rihana were playing a game of cricket in the street. So all these friends were playing the game of cricket. Let's read further. Shankar had bowled a good over, and although he nearly managed to get Rihanna out, she was still batting. Frustrated, he bowled a short ball and hoped she would hit it for an easy catch. Instead, Rihanna hit the ball so hard and so high that the street light broke. Rihanna screamed, "Oh no, look what I have done." Shankar said, "Yes, we have forgot to make a rule that if you break the street light, you are automatically out." But Mala, Jahangir, and Rihanna were more worried about what had happened, and they told Shankar he had better stop thinking about the wicket. So, children, this must have happened with one of you all also. So, this is a very common example. So, all these friends were playing the cricket in the street and they hit the ball so hard that the street light broke. So, they all got very worried and they got scared too. That now what will happen? Let's read further. Last week they had broken Nirmala Mausi's window and had spent their pocket money to have it replaced. Would they have to dish out money again from their pockets? But who would they pay this to? To whom did the lights on the streets belong? Who changed them? Rihanna's house was the closest, and they ran and told her mother what had happened. Rihanna's mother said, "I don't really know these things in great detail, but I know that it is the municipal corporation of the city that takes care of replacing lights. The best person to ask would be Yasmin Khala. She just retired from the municipal corporation. Go and ask her, and Rihanna come back home soon." So, children, they all ran towards Rihanna's house as her house was closest, and they asked Rihanna's mother that now what should we do? So, Rihanna's mother said that I'm not knowing much about it, but it is the work of municipal corporation. So, she gave an example of Yasmin Khala that you can go there and you can ask the detail that what all and who all are the people who look after the street lights. So they all went to Yasmin Khala's house. Yasmin Khala lived in the same lane, and she and Rehana's mother were good friends. The children ran to Khala's house, and when she opened the door, they began to tell her what had happened all at once. When they asked about the street light, Yasmin Khala laughed and said, "There is no one person that you can pay the money to. There is big organization called the Municipal Corporation that takes care of street lights, garbage collection, water supply, keeping the streets and market clean." So, children, Yasmin Khala explained everything to the children, that there is no one person involved in the repairing of the streets. So, she told that there is one big organization named Municipal Corporation who takes care of everything from street lights to the collection of the garbage to the cleanliness, everything. Let's read further. "I have heard about the municipal corporation. They have put up signs around the city to inform people about malaria," said Mala. So Mala said that I know, I've heard about them, and they have put certain signs around the city to make the people aware about the disease called malaria. "Yes, you are quite right. The municipal corporation is also responsible for ensuring that diseases do not break out in the city. It also runs schools, hospitals, and dispensaries, and makes gardens and maintains them," said Yasmin Khala. Then she added, "Our city Pune is a big city, and so here it is called a municipal corporation. In smaller towns, it is called a municipal council." So, children, Yasmin Khala told children that you all are right, that their work is to look after the street lights, the maintenance, the making of the parks, the making of the streets, hospitals, schools, and various other things that are needed in the city. So, it is the work of municipal corporation. Children, she also explained one more thing, that in big cities it is called municipal corporation, and in small towns or in small cities it is known as municipal council. Let's read further. The ward councillor and administrative staff. Yasmin Khala, I am curious. Who decides where a park should go? Did you have to make interesting decisions like this when you work in the municipal corporation? Asked Rihanna. No, Rihanna, I was working in the accounts office of the corporation, so I just worked on pay slips. Cities are usually quite large, so the municipal corporation has to make a lot of decisions as well as do a lot of work to keep the city clean. The decisions like this, where a park or a new hospital should go, are usually made by the ward councillors. So, all these children were very curious, and they kept on asking lot of questions to her. And one of them, they asked that who is the person who looks after the making of the parks or the city clean. So Yasmin Khala told the children that it is the work of ward counselor. Now children, let's see who is ward counselors. Let's read further. The city is divided into different wards, and ward councillors get elected. The complicated decisions that affect the entire city are taken by a group of councillors who form committees to decide and debate issues. For example, if bus stands need to be improved, or a crowded marketplace needs to have its garbage cleared more regularly, or there is a nala or drain that cuts through the city that needs cleaning, etc. It is these committees for water, garbage collection, street lighting, etc., that decide on the work to be done. Now, children, I have already told you in the beginning that cities are much bigger place than villages. So, these cities are divided into wards. ठीक है, इनको वार्ड्स में डिवाइड कर दिया जाता है और इनके लीडर्स बना दिए जाते हैं जिनको हम वार्ड काउंसलर्स कहते हैं और इनको वहाँ के लोग ही इलेक्ट करते हैं, ओके, थ्रू इलेक्शंस। और अगर कोई कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है तो पूरे सिटी के जो काउंसलर्स होते हैं, अलग अलग वार्ड्स के जो काउंसलर्स होते हैं, दे कम टुगेदर एंड दे डिसाइड दैट हाउ द प्रॉब्लम शुड बी सॉल्व्ड, ओके। लेट्स रीड फर्दर. When the problems are within a ward, then the people who live in the ward can contact their councillors. For example, if there are dangerous electrical wires hanging down, then the local councillor can help them get in touch with the electricity authority. So, children, if there is a problem within the ward, then the ward councillor itself solves the problem. Okay, for example, if there is some electrical problem or the hanging of the wires are there, so it can be solved through the ward councillor of that area by connecting with the electrical authority. Let's read. While the councillors' committees and the councillors decide on issues, the commissioner and the administrative staff implement these. The commissioner and the administrative staff are appointed, councillors are elected. So children, जो counselors committee होती है उसमें जो counselors होते हैं, they decide on the issues, that what issues are to be solved and what issues are to be left. So they appoint the commissioner and the administrative staff to implement these issues. Okay. So how are these decisions made? Asks Rihanna, who never gave up on her train of thought. Well, all of the ward councillors meet and they make a budget, and the money is spent according to this. The ward councillors try and ensure that the particular demands of their wards are placed before the entire council. These decisions are then implemented by the administrative staff, said Yasmin Khala, enjoying the questions. So children, those children like Rihanna, she was kept on asking the questions to the Khala. She was asking, ये सब जो चीज़ें होती हैं ये होता कैसे है, इसमें पैसे कौन लगाता है? Then Yasmin Khala answered that all the ward councillors, they meet and they make a budget and they present it in front of the council. So, as I've already told you, in big cities there are municipal corporations, and in small towns and in small cities there is municipal councils. So, all these ward councillors, they meet and they make a budget and they present in front of the municipal council, and according to it the budget or the money is provided to the ward councillors to make the work done. Let's read further. And as the Yasmin Khala was enjoying the questions that the children asked, no adults asked her about her job, and the children's questions provided her an opportunity to relieve some of her experiences. But the city is so large, it must take a lot of people to look after it. Does the municipal corporation have a lot of workers? Asked Shankar curiously. He had by now luckily forgotten about the cricket match and his incomplete over. So children, now Shankar asked question to Yasmin Khala that the cities are so big, so the municipal corporation, how they work, do they have workers? Let's read. Yes, the work in the city is divided into different departments. So there is the water department, the garbage collection department, a department to look after gardens, another to look after roads. I worked on accounts in the sanitation department, said Yasmin Khala, and then went on to offer the children some kebabs to eat. So children, the Yasmin Khala answered the question of Shankar. She said that there are different departments in the cities, like there is garbage collection department who look after the working of the roads, and there are many more departments, and she was working in the sanitation department. Sanitation department means जो साफ सफाई का ध्यान रखता है उसको हम sanitation department बोलते हैं, ठीक है. And along with these questionnaire with Yasmin Khala, she offered the children some kebabs to eat. Let's read next. Jahangir ate his kebabs at top speed, and as he wolfed them down, he asked loudly from the kitchen, Yasmin Khala, where does the garbage that the municipal corporation collects go to? The others were still eating when Yasmin Khala began to answer. This question has an interesting answer. As you know, you can usually find garbage lying all over the street. Earlier, even our neighborhood used to have garbage lying all over. And if this remains uncollected, it attracts dogs, rats, and flies. Also, people get ill from the smell. At one point, things became so bad that children even stopped playing cricket in the street because their parents were afraid that they had get sick from staying on the streets too long. Now, children, during eating kebabs, Jahangir asked that ये जो हम garbage collect करते हैं ये जाता कहाँ है? तो Yasmin Khala answered that the things, the garbage which are collected on the streets, they are collected. As you all know that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is also going on in our cities. The different garbage collecting vans, they come to your doorstep, they collect the garbage and then they throw it in the garbage pit. ठीक है, एक गार्बेज पिट बनाया जाता है जिसमें सारे शहर का कूड़ा कलेक्ट करके वहाँ पे डाल दिया जाता है. और अगर हम ऐसे नहीं करेंगे तो देर आर मैनी डिजीजेस विच आर spread in the cities. So to protect the citizens of the cities from the diseases, the garbage collecting system is planned by the municipal councils. Okay, let's continue reading. A community protest. Yasmin Khala continued. The women were very unhappy about the situation and even came to me for advice. I said I could try and speak with some officer in the department, but I wasn't sure how long it would take. Then it was Ganga Bai who said that it is the ward councillor who we should go to and protest since we are the ones who elected him. She gathered a small group of women and went to his house. They began shouting slogans in front of his house and he came out and asked that what was wrong. Gangabai described the situation in the locality to him. He promised to go with them the next day to meet the commissioner. He asked Gangabai to get a petition signed by all of the adults in the locality saying that garbage was not being collected. He suggested that taking the local sanitation engineer with them the next day might be a good idea. The sanitation engineer could also speak with the commissioner and tell him how bad the situation was. That evening, children ran from house to house, making sure that as many families as possible signed the petition. Now, children, there is one situation when the work is going on very smoothly, that there is no problem in the city. But there is other situation when the problems are there and it is not being sorted out. So what you all can do, you can protest against. आप अपनी बात उनके आगे, ward councillors के आगे रख सकते हैं. How? You can make a group and you can go to ward councillor and tell your problem to be sorted out. So children, here this problem was that the garbage was not being collected from the society. So the group of women, they protested against and they went in front of ward councillor's house and they started protesting and started shouting against it, and they told the problem to the ward counselor, and ward counselor promised them to help it out. So let's read further what happened. The next morning, a large group of women and the ward councillor and the sanitation engineer went to municipal corporation office. The commissioner met with the large group and began giving excuses saying that the corporation did not have enough trucks. But Gangabai smartly replied, "But you seem to have enough trucks to collect garbage from the rich localities." So children, along with the commissioner and ward councillor, when the women went to the municipal corporation office, they told their problem, and the municipal corporation replied that because of the shortage of the trucks, we could not collect the garbage from their areas. But Gangabai smartly replied that from rich localities you all are having the trucks, but for collecting the garbage from our locality you don't have trucks. So the municipal corporation officer was having short of words. He could not answer it. Let's read further. "That must have left him lost for words," quipped Jahangir. "Yes, he said that he would take care of it immediately, and Gangabai threatened that if it was not done in 2 days, a large group of women would protest in front of the corporation," said Yasmin Khala. "So did the streets get cleaned?" asked Rehana, who never let things remain unfinished. "Well, not within 2 days." And then, after another larger and more noisier protest, the sanitation service in this locality became more regular. Wow, this sounds just like a Bollywood film with a happy ending. So, children, Gangabai, along with the ward councillor and other women, she threatened the municipal corporation officer that if the work is not being done, then we will collect more women and the group will be more noisier to protest against it. So, it is better that you do the work within 2 days. Wow, this sounds just like a Bollywood film with a happy ending, said Mala, who already began imagining herself in the lead role of Gangabai. The children enjoyed hearing Gangabai's story immensely. They had seen that Gangabai was much loved and respected, and now they understood why. They got up and thanked Khala for answering their questions, and then, before they left, Rehana said, "Oh, I have one last question, Khala. The two dustbins that we have at our home now, are they also Gangabai's idea?" So, children, all these friends were very fascinated by listening the working of the municipal council and the municipal corporation. So, before leaving Khala's house, Rihanna asked one last question, that the two dustbins which are placed near our houses, was this also the idea of Gangabai? Let's read the next paragraph. Kala began laughing. "No, not really. The municipal corporation was the one who suggested that we do this to help keep our streets clean. When we sort our own garbage, it reduces their work." The children thanked Kala and walked back down the street together. It had become quite late and they needed to get back home. For some reason, the street seemed darker than usual. They looked up and then looked at each other, smiling, and ran right back to Khala's house. So they all enjoyed the question and answers asked by them and the answers given by Khala. So after that, they all were going back, but it was quite dark. So to ask the question again, they went again to Khala's house, that why the streets are dark, why the street lights are not on. I hope, children, you all have understood the chapter. Thank you very much.